Cabin Fever is the first side quest you can find inside Avowed when you start the game. Now obviously there's a couple different ways you could go through this side quest, but I'm going to tell you the best way so you can get a unique item for completing it. With that said, let's get into it. The NPC that gives you this side quest is literally right off the docks, right next to this pillar, and she's going to have the exclamation point right above her head. All you really have to do is talk to her and start asking about what's bothering her, and she'll eventually give you a quest to go and investigate her house. Now within the dialogue of actually talking to her, if you go through the right steps and eventually agree to help her out with her problem, which is going to be get rid of some of the lizard fighters that are inside of her house, she'll give you the front door key, which is helpful, but you don't really need it. Once you have accepted this quest, the map is going to be marking the exact location, and thankfully it also has its own fast travel point, so you can go back and forth from any area that you want if you want to come back and do this later. Obviously, all you have to do is defeat the lizard fighters inside of this house. Now, if you did take the time to actually get the house key, you go through the front door, or you can use a grenade or a strong enough spell to blow up the wall, but there is a third option as well that is behind the house, and all you have to do is break a couple of breakable crates, and you'll basically be inside of the back door into this house. This is the route that I recommend doing, especially if you don't want to go through all the certain dialogue, because it allows you to sneak up on all these different enemies inside the house. But again, this is a low level quest, so it'll be very easy to complete. Once you have defeated all the enemies inside this house, you're going to have a couple indicators of things you need to interact with. One is going to be this big mural on the wall that actually adds to the quest line later on and actually helps out with the dialogue to get you the unique reward for this quest line. The second item that you need to interact with is going to be a book inside of the bedroom or inside of the back entrance which you went through to get into the house in the first place. This is going to help out with finalizing this quest and help you get the unique reward even more. Once you have these two items and cleaned up the rest of the lizard fighters around the house, if you want to, make your way back to the character that gave you this questline in the first place and begin talking to her. I highly recommend you do a hard save right before you turn in this quest, so in case you mess up the dialogue that you need to go through to get that unique reward, you can go back with that save and get this unique reward. But to start, it's very easy to go through this dialogue. Just bring up the things that you had found inside of her house, which is that painting, the mural that was on the wall of her and a lizard dancing together, and also the book that she has. Eventually, she's going to start telling you that she knew about this from the beginning and didn't want to lie to you about it. I have the arcane scholar background, so that helped me get to the answer of her lying much quicker, but there are other ways using perception and some of the other dialogue to get to the same fact of her lying about why you actually went over there. Continue through this dialogue after she tells you about the lie, and eventually she's going to ask you if you should spend time with the Zorb or just go and ignore the Zorb. What you want to do is tell her to spend time with the Zorb. That is the option you want to choose to get the unique ring, that unique item that I've been talking about throughout this video. Now, if you use some of the other options, you will still get a reward for completing this side quest, but it won't include the unique ring. Now again, this may take you a couple tries if you don't have the proper background or if you go through the dialogue incorrectly your first time around. So again, do the hard save before you start talking to her and turning in this quest line. Now this unique ring is called Vindictive Band. It gets critical hits, poison damage. Now it's just awesome to have, especially if you want to use some of your mage spells or if you aim for the head with any of your weapons. It does a lot more damage than you might think, and again, it causes poison which takes forever to tick off an enemy, so it's very strong, especially early game. Now the quest line technically ends here when you get that unique reward, but if you go back to the house, and you could do this before you even go inside the house to complete this quest, you could go to the small island just next to the house where you're actually going to find a friendly Zorb that has just destroyed some of its other kind for some reason. You can have a conversation with this Zorb. You really don't get much out of it, but it does kind of go into the actual storyline of the quest line you just completed, basically giving you a hint that this is the Zorb that has the same half soul that is basically the basis of this side quest and the reason that there's a mural painted on the wall inside of the house. Now from my conversations with this Zorb, nothing really comes from it, especially after you have completed the quest, so please let me know down in the comments if you interact with the Zorb before you complete the quest line. If it changes anything within the quest line, I would like to know. But that is the full walkthrough of the Cabin Fever quest line that we know so far. I hope you guys found it helpful and it allowed you to get that unique ring, which again is very useful early on in the game. If you found this walkthrough guide helpful, make sure to hit the like, subscribe buttons for me down below so I know that you did find it helpful, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.